When even the President of the United States is a businessman, our society is attempting to determine where politics should start and where it should end, and what role businesses should play, or if they should play a role at all, in the increasingly complicated and touchy web of political controversy. We've seen public backlash when individual celebrities have voiced their opinions on political matters, such as when LeBron James was told to shut up and dribble after being outspoken about the movement against police brutality just this past summer, or when Meryl Streep was criticized by the president himself after showing her displeasure with the current political climate. But how are companies any different? What changes when it's no longer an individual voicing their opinion, but instead a corporation with products used daily? David Mayer, a management professor at the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business, says, "A lot of people feel like sort of doom and gloom, like everything's getting politicized." He claims that he has a more optimistic view and thinks societal improvement relies on the nation starting to expect more from powerful people and see their decisions as moral decisions. But is this just one professor's opinion, or do other people within the business sphere agree with the statement? Leaders of thriving businesses have commented on the dynamic of political power and representation by boldly calling upon the current government for its lack of activism and dedication to taking stances on societal issues. In 2017, Apple CEO Tim Cook told the New York Times that government has become less functional and is no longer working at adequate speed. He claims that the responsibility falls upon not just businesses to step up, but also all other areas of society. The responsibility a CEO has to speak up about societal issues, almost half of Americans feel as though they have no responsibility at all. According to consumers, businesses that take political stances run the risk of alienating a significant fraction of the company's customers, employees, investors, and other constituents. With business leaders and consumers voicing their own opinions on how far into the business sphere politics should be taken, there are intricacies within the business itself that needs to be taken into consideration. For many corporations, it boils down to the risk factor involved in taking a political stance and whether or not executives believe as though their company will benefit from their decision to choose a political side. For example, the Yale Program on Climate Change Communication reported in November 2016 that 31% of Americans said they had rewarded companies that are taking steps to reduce global warming by buying their products more than once in the prior year. Is a business's decision to actively participate in politics benefiting their brands? Or is it the opposite, and do consumers feel the need to turn away from corporations that don't correlate with their own political beliefs? Despite the ways in which political stances impact a corporation, citizens in the United States have become conflicted over whether businesses that are available to individuals of all political backgrounds are able to interject their opinions, thrusting beliefs on the brand name itself. Arguably the most famous controversy that took to the internet in September 2018 was Nike's affiliation with former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who was released from San Francisco's NFL football team in 2017.
Political football has a whole new meaning. What began in the NFL with 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick.
Out of that protest by Colin Kaepernick, 49ers quarterback knelt instead of standing during the national anthem at last night's game.
Athletic shoe giant Nike is running straight into a political controversy. The company has chosen controversial football player Colin Kaepernick for its new ad. The ad reads, "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything."
For Nike's 30th anniversary of their Just Do It campaign, the sports brand featured Kaepernick as the face and narrator of their most recent advertisement. The collusion between the two sparked reactions from consumers immediately. Individuals took to Twitter to express their feelings on Nike's decision to support Kaepernick. Some even went as far as burning Nike products to show their disagreement with the brand's political stance. Videos of Nike products being burned immediately went viral. However, the controversy ultimately played out in Nike's favor. According to Edison Trends, the brand's online sales increased by 31% over the Labor Day holiday, just after Nike had released Kaepernick's campaign. Should a brand name such as Nike with an approximate value of $114 billion take a deliberate stance in the current political climate? While ultimately siding with Colin Kaepernick and more liberal political views, does the Universal brand have the right to affiliate the corporation with only a one-sided account of the debate? The same heated debate has gone beyond just clothing and has found itself amidst the popular fast food that Americans devour on a daily basis. Chick-fil-A, a Georgia-based fast food chain that was opened in 1967 in Atlanta, seems like a family-friendly food chain with tasty chicken and waffle fries. However, it has most recently been plagued by controversy. The company, and especially its founder, have taken an outward political stance. According to Snopes.com, the operations of the chain reflect the religious values of the founder, S. Truett Cathy. For example, Chick-fil-A's across the country are closed on Sundays for religious reasons. Also, the Founders Foundation donates millions of dollars to groups with anti-gay agendas. Chick-fil-A's anti-gay stance has deliberately isolated itself from specific groups of individuals who hold the opposite beliefs and has certainly caused backlash and protest. However, the opposite has been true as well. Chick-fil-A lovers have also been assembling in support of the chain and its political stance. The views that S. Truett Cathy has built the foundation of Chick-fil-A on has created not only heightened altercations, but has also provided a divide between the masses of hungry Americans. Much like other politically involved companies, Ben & Jerry's, the famous ice cream company which has produced popular flavors such as Cherry Garcia and Fish Food, has crashed the political party, yet they find themselves joining the ranks of a completely different team. Since it was founded in 1978, the company has been politically active. Upon entering Ben & Jerry's website, consumers can find an entire section devoted to the transparencies of the company, with links to multiple political movements such as LGBT, climate justice, fair trade, racial justice, and many more. The provider of your late-night ice cream binge has become known for their temporary release of flavors cleverly named to reflect their stance in politics. In 2009, Yes Pecan went on to make headlines as the name reflected President Barack Obama's campaign slogan of Yes We Can, and proceeds of the limited edition flavor profited the Common Cause Education Fund. And most recently, the flavor Pecan Resist was released in late October of this year to peacefully resist the Trump administration's regressive and discriminatory policies while building a future that values inclusivity, equality, and justice for people of color, women, the LGBT community, refugees, and immigrants. Ben & Jerry's CEO, Matthew McCarthy, defends the ice cream brand's history of political activism.
Acknowledging that you are part of a community and being part of the social change that you want to see come apart in the world that you serve is actually part of business. I actually think that's in the DNA of Ben & Jerry's.
Does this stance, taken by a tasty brand name with individualistic views, ultimately turn the debate between the nations sour? Perhaps the New York Times headline says it all when it comes to defining popular food companies and their input in politics. Starbucks, the increasingly favored coffee company, was stripped down to its inner workings in a headline that stated, Howard Schultz at Starbucks, Coffee, Activism, and Controversy. Schultz, the previous executive chairman for Starbucks, who had just recently stepped down from the company in June of 2018, has created a reputation for not only building one of the world's most powerful coffee companies, but also for exemplifying how corporations can get political. He had endorsed President Barack Obama during both the 2008 and the 2012 presidential elections, and Starbucks had since participated in various outspoken political controversies, driving the brand name to a very obvious side of the political spectrum. Starting with an open letter in 2013 after the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, Starbucks asked customers not to bring firearms into or around the stores.
However, we do believe that guns should not be part of the Starbucks experience. And as a result of that, of making that decision, we are respectfully requesting that those customers who are carrying a gun just honor the request and not bring the gun into Starbucks.
The company has continued to take very public stances on issues within society. Later, in 2015, the company applauded the Supreme Court decision to legalize gay marriage. The brand also indicated that they were devoted to making an effort to hire an influx of Syrian refugees. According to Schultz, Starbucks pledged to hire 10,000 refugees over a 5-year span in the 75 countries where the coffee company does business. Corporations within the United States have not only dipped their toes into political waters, but have plunged the names of universal brands into the deep end of issues within society. The thin line that separates expressing public opinion and silencing a voice that demands to be heard becomes lost between the risk of freedom of speech and the safety of remaining neutral and in favor of all consumers. Biased representations within businesses that cater to all consumers something that is needed and accepted, or do outspoken corporations muddle the already murky waters of the current political climate? Neil Stern at Forbes magazine states, "The world is no longer so simple. Consumers are looking to align with brands that share their values, and the government, particularly the current one, is no longer content to be a neutral commenter. So, intentionally or otherwise, retail has become politicized." Some may argue that the current government has left the doors wide open for businesses to exert their political beliefs. However, just because the doors have been thrust open, does this mean corporations are welcome to enter?